High on the Serengeti Plateau, the air plays a deceptive trick. At nearly 5,000 feet above sea level, the temperature feels surprisingly mild. But appearances can be misleading. This is the height of the dry season, and the landscape is under constant pressure from heat and drought. The lush grasslands that once stretched across the plains have faded away, leaving behind a vast expanse of brittle, sun-scorched vegetation. Beneath the golden haze, rivers and waterholes continue to shrink. Places that once sustained life are turning into dangerous pockets of thick mud, trapping the desperate animals that venture too close. Far above the plains, a shadow drifts silently on rising columns of warm air. A white-backed vulture. With remarkable eyesight, it scans the ground for the first signs that drought is beginning to take its toll. Then the earth starts to shake. A wall of dust rises across the horizon. The Great Migration has arrived. Millions of wildebeests move forward, driven by an ancient instinct that has guided them across East Africa for generations. Yet the migration is not a single herd. It is a constantly shifting river of animals spread across hundreds of miles. At its peak, more than 1 million wildebeests and hundreds of thousands of zebras move through the Serengeti Mara ecosystem. Their journey follows the rains. Where fresh grass appears, the migration follows. And wherever the migration goes, predators are never far behind. For lions, these vast movements create both opportunity and uncertainty. A pride may enjoy weeks of abundant prey, only to watch the herds disappear beyond the horizon as the seasons change. Among the migration travel, thousands of zebras moving in tightly packed groups. Their black and white stripes create visual confusion when viewed from a distance, making it more difficult for predators to isolate a single target. But hidden within this dry and unforgiving landscape, hunters are already waiting. Blending almost perfectly into the dead grass around them. Patient. Still. And built for survival. Emerging from the sun-bleached vegetation, the dominant predators of the Serengeti come into view. A lion pride. Unlike most cats, lions rarely face life alone. A pride is typically composed of related females, their cubs, and a coalition of adult males responsible for defending territory. Many lionesses spend their entire lives within the same pride. They hunt alongside sisters, daughters, mothers, and aunts. These family bonds form the foundation of lion society. In many ways, a pride functions less like a collection of individuals and more like a long-term cooperative family. Quiet. Coordinated, deadly when the moment demands it. Popular culture often portrays lions as effortless rulers of the African plains. The reality is far more complicated. Despite their size and strength, lions face an important physical limitation. Inside that powerful chest is a surprisingly small heart. Relative to body size, lions possess smaller hearts than many other large predators. That limitation comes with consequences. They can generate explosive bursts of speed, but only for short distances before fatigue begins to take over. That single constraint shapes much of their behavior. Unlike wolves, which can pursue prey across long distances, lions must get close before launching an attack. Every additional yard increases the chance of failure. Success depends less on endurance and more on positioning. A lion may spend hours stalking and maneuvering for a hunt that lasts less than a minute. To understand why this matters, it helps to compare lions with another predator that evolved a very different solution. Across the open plains moves the cheetah. Weighing between 80 and 140 pounds, this slender hunter is built almost entirely for speed. Unlike lions and many other big cats, cheetahs cannot roar. Instead, mothers communicate with their cubs through a series of chirps, purrs, and high-pitched calls. Most of their hunting takes place during the hottest hours of the day. At first glance, this seems counterintuitive, but the strategy helps them avoid competition. Lions, hyenas, and leopards are all capable of stealing a cheetah's hard-earned meal. By hunting when temperatures are highest, cheetahs reduce the chances of encountering these larger rivals. The heat is difficult to endure, but it creates a narrow window where the fastest predator on the plains can operate with fewer interruptions. To function under such intense sunlight, cheetahs possess distinctive black tear marks running from their eyes to the corners of their mouths. These markings help reduce glare, improving visual focus while tracking prey across bright, open terrain. But their greatest advantage lies deeper inside the body. Compared with lions, cheetahs possess a larger cardiovascular system relative to their size. Their heart, lungs, and blood vessels are adapted to deliver oxygen at extraordinary rates during a chase. The result is one of the fastest acceleration performances in the animal kingdom. A cheetah can reach 60 miles per hour in only a few seconds. During a full sprint, its stride can stretch more than 20 feet. Its flexible spine bends and extends like a spring, increasing stride length with every bound. For a few brief moments, nearly every part of the animal is optimized for speed. Yet that speed comes at a cost. The chase is brief. Muscles rapidly accumulate heat and metabolic waste products, pushing the animal toward its physiological limits. A cheetah may exhaust itself within minutes, leaving it vulnerable to stronger competitors that arrive after the hunt. In some cases, the chase itself becomes more dangerous than the prey. If body temperature rises too high, the pursuit must end immediately. Continuing for even a short time can push the animal beyond safe physiological limits. Speed gives the cheetah an extraordinary advantage. It also leaves very little room for error. Lions cannot survive that way. Their bodies were shaped by a different solution. Instead of maximizing individual performance, lions invested in cooperation. A single lion may struggle against fast prey. Several lions working together can challenge animals that no cheetah would willingly attack. The trade-off changed everything. It allowed lions to pursue larger prey, defend territory more effectively, raise cubs collectively, and dominate ecosystems through social cooperation rather than speed alone. It is a strategy found nowhere else among the world's big cats. And during the dry season, stole that strategy becomes the difference between survival and starvation. And during the dry season, hunting becomes about more than food. For lions, it is also a critical source of water. As highly specialized carnivores, they are remarkably efficient at conserving moisture. Much of the water they require comes directly from the animals they consume. This adaptation allows them to survive in environments where drinking opportunities may be limited for days at a time. Across the open plains, one of their most common prey species is the Thompson's gazelle. Small, lightweight, and constantly alert. These animals are among the most successful grazers in East Africa. Their survival depends on detecting danger before it arrives. Large eyes positioned on the sides of the head provide a wide field of vision, allowing them to monitor predators while continuing to feed. But vision alone is not enough. When threatened, Thompson's gazelles often perform a remarkable behavior known as stotting. Instead of fleeing immediately, they leap high into the air on stiff legs, displaying their speed and physical condition. To human observers, the behavior appears strange. Why advertise your presence to a predator? The answer may lie in communication. A healthy gazelle is effectively sending a message. I see you. I am strong, and chasing me may not be worth the effort. Biologists refer to this concept as honest signaling. The leap is difficult to fake. Only healthy individuals can perform it repeatedly and effectively. For predators, the display can serve as valuable information. Pursuing a weaker target may offer a greater chance of success. The gazelle possesses another advantage hidden beneath the surface. Inside its skull lies a specialized network of blood vessels known as the carotid rete. This structure helps cool blood before it reaches the brain, reducing the risk of overheating during long, high-speed escapes. As temperatures climb across the savanna, this adaptation becomes increasingly important. For a lone lion, catching such an animal is extraordinarily difficult. The odds improve only when the pride works together. And that challenge helped shape one of the most important developments in lion evolution: cooperation. Unlike most cats, lions share responsibilities. They hunt together, defend territory together, and raise cubs together. The benefits become especially clear when pursuing prey that can outrun any individual lion. A gazelle may escape one predator. Escaping several working as a team is far more difficult. As the dry season deepens, however, small prey become less attractive. The pride's attention gradually shifts toward larger animals, prey capable of feeding an entire family. The African buffalo. Adult males can weigh close to a ton. Powerful, heavily built, and highly defensive, they rank among the most dangerous animals on the continent. Many predators spend their lives avoiding unnecessary confrontations with them. At first glance, buffaloes appear similar to domestic cattle. The resemblance is misleading. Wild buffaloes possess immense neck muscles, dense bones, and powerful shoulders, capable of generating tremendous force. Protecting the front of the skull is a thick, bony shield known as the boss. Formed where the horn bases fuse together, it acts as natural armor during combat. Below it curve a pair of sharp horns that can inflict devastating injuries. Even experienced predators approach with caution. Yet physical strength is only part of the buffalo's defense. Their greatest advantage may be social cooperation. Buffaloes rarely face danger alone. Large herds create safety through numbers. When threatened, individuals often move closer together rather than scattering. Calves are pushed toward the center, while adults form a defensive perimeter around them. The formation creates a wall of horns capable of discouraging most attackers. Unlike many prey species, buffaloes sometimes confront predators directly. In documented cases, herds have returned to challenge lions after an attack. Some have even attempted to rescue captured herd members. Such behavior reflects the advantages of living within a highly coordinated group. The plains are filled with animals, constantly monitoring these interactions. From nearby acacia trees, olive baboons observe the landscape from a position of relative safety. The moment they detect lions, alarm calls spread through the troop. These warnings can alert numerous species simultaneously. In an ecosystem where survival often depends on early detection, information has enormous value. Not far away, another predator moves through the shadows. The leopard. Unlike lions, leopards live largely solitary lives. Stealth and patience define their hunting strategy. After making a kill, a leopard often drags its prey into a tree. This behavior helps protect valuable food from scavengers and larger predators. A lion can dominate a leopard in a direct confrontation. As a result, avoiding conflict is usually the safer option. While other animals react to the presence of predators, the lion pride remains focused on the buffalo herd. A direct attack against a tightly packed formation would be extremely risky. Instead, the lionesses rely on patience. Every movement is calculated. Every position matters. Over years of experience, many lionesses develop specialized roles during cooperative hunts. Some move along the flanks of the herd. Their purpose is not necessarily to make the kill. Instead, they apply pressure. A sudden appearance, a change in direction, a brief charge. Each action forces the herd to react. And every reaction creates information. Which animal is injured? Which calf is struggling to keep up? Which buffalo hesitates at the wrong moment? Meanwhile, other lionesses remain concealed. Hidden among dry grass and scattered vegetation, they conserve energy while waiting for an opportunity. If confusion breaks the formation and a vulnerable individual becomes isolated, they are already positioned to act. The strategy reflects a simple reality. Lions cannot afford long chases. Success depends on creating favorable circumstances before the attack begins. For hours, sometimes longer, the pride waits. The sun continues its slow descent across the plains. Dust hangs in the air. The buffalo herd remains alert. Then a mistake occurs. A young buffalo drifts slightly farther from the protection of the group. The distance is small. But on the Serengeti, small mistakes can carry enormous consequences. The lionesses immediately recognize the opportunity. Pressure increases. The herd begins to shift. Adults move to protect the vulnerable youngster. For a few critical moments, order gives way to confusion. And that is exactly what the pride has been waiting for. For the migrating herds, one of the greatest challenges lies ahead. The Mara River. Every year, thousands of animals are forced to cross its unpredictable waters in search of fresh grazing grounds. Beneath the surface waits one of Africa's most efficient ambush predators, the Nile crocodile. Some individuals can exceed 20 feet in length and weigh well over 1,000 pounds. Perfectly adapted for life in the water, crocodiles are capable of remaining almost motionless for long periods, exposing only their eyes and nostrils above the surface. To an approaching herd, they often appear indistinguishable from floating logs. When an opportunity presents itself, the attack is sudden. Powerful jaws clamp onto a leg, neck, or muzzle, and the crocodile uses its weight and momentum to pull its prey into deeper water. Many victims never re-emerge. Yet even crocodiles must share the river with another formidable resident, the hippopotamus. Despite feeding almost entirely on vegetation, hippos are among the most aggressive large animals in Africa. Adult males can weigh more than 3 tons and defend their territories with remarkable determination. Inside their massive jaws are elongated canine teeth that continue growing throughout life. These weapons are capable of inflicting catastrophic injuries on rivals and any animal unfortunate enough to get too close. To reach the opposite bank, the migrating herds must navigate a landscape filled with danger from every direction. Some are swept away by currents. Others fall victim to crocodiles. Many emerge exhausted from the struggle. And that exhaustion creates opportunity. The lions rarely enter the river itself. Instead, they wait where the crossing ends. As animals scramble up steep, muddy banks, many are separated from the protection of the herd. Confusion replaces coordination. The moment a vulnerable animal becomes isolated, the pride acts. The attack unfolds with remarkable speed. Lionesses positioned along the flanks force the target away from the group. Others emerge from concealment and close the distance before the animal can recover its footing. Against a large buffalo, bringing the animal down requires the combined effort of several individuals. The lionesses use their weight and strength to destabilize the prey, targeting the shoulders and hindquarters, while avoiding the dangerous sweep of the horns. Even after the buffalo falls, the struggle is often far from over. Large prey can continue fighting for several minutes. To end the confrontation, the lions typically secure a grip around the throat or muzzle, restricting airflow until the animal can no longer resist. It is an exhausting process for both predator and prey. And the outcome is never guaranteed. But once the buffalo finally collapses, a new challenge begins. Fresh blood carries its own signal across the savanna. The scent can travel for miles. Before long, another predator arrives. Spotted hyenas. Often dismissed as scavengers, hyenas are among the most successful hunters in Africa. Their clans operate with complex social structures and remarkable coordination. Many of their meals come from hunts they conduct themselves. Powerful jaws allow them to consume parts of a carcass that most predators cannot utilize, including dense bones. As the smell of the kill spreads, other opportunists begin to gather. Black-backed jackals circle the edges of the scene, searching for scraps. Marabou storks stand nearby, waiting patiently for an opening. Every species is drawn by the same opportunity. Food is too valuable to ignore during the dry season. The dominant male lion steps forward. His role is not to hunt. It is to protect the prize his pride has earned. He watches the approaching hyenas carefully. The clan does the same. Neither side is eager to start a fight, but neither side is willing to retreat. The tension builds. The lionesses are tired from the hunt. The hyenas recognize it. Slowly, they begin probing the perimeter. Testing. Waiting. Looking for weakness? The standoff can last for minutes or even hours. Sometimes the hyenas succeed in stealing portions of the carcass. Sometimes the lions drive them away. The outcome depends on numbers, experience, and circumstance. But when a confrontation becomes unavoidable, the male lion often serves as the deciding factor. His size alone can outweigh multiple hyenas. A charge from a mature male is usually enough to scatter less committed challengers. And when he roars, the sound carries across the plains. Lions produce one of the most powerful vocalizations in the animal kingdom. The call can travel several miles under the right conditions, announcing the pride's presence to rivals and allies alike. For the hyenas, the message is clear. The carcass is defended, at least for now. With the immediate threat pushed back, the pride begins feeding. Time is limited. Other predators may return. Scavengers continue to gather. Every minute increases the risk of losing the meal. Using rough tongues covered in backward-facing papillae, the lions strip meat from the carcass with remarkable efficiency. They consume as much as possible while the opportunity lasts. A successful kill may provide enough food to sustain the pride for days. But on the Serengeti, no advantage lasts forever. Soon, the lions will have to move again. As the pride finishes feeding, the journey continues. But the plains ahead are occupied by some of the largest animals in Africa. African elephants. A mature elephant can weigh several tons, making it one of the most physically imposing land animals on Earth. Yet their strength is only part of what makes them remarkable. Elephants possess complex social structures, long-term memory, and strong family bonds centered around experienced matriarchs. For lion prides, direct conflict with healthy adult elephants is rarely worth the risk. A protective matriarch can coordinate the herd within seconds. Calves are quickly moved toward the center, while adults form a defensive barrier around them. The message is unmistakable. Stay away. The lions understand confrontation would be dangerous and unnecessary. Instead, they move quietly through the grass, avoiding attention whenever possible. To maintain visual contact with one another, lionesses often raise their tails while traveling. dark tufts at the tip serve as simple visual markers, helping cubs and other pride members follow through tall vegetation. It is a small adaptation, but an effective one. The landscape appears calm once again. Then the calm is broken. Emerging from dense brush comes one of Africa's most unpredictable animals, the black rhinoceros. Unlike elephants, black rhinos are generally solitary. Their poor eyesight is well known, and they often rely heavily on hearing and smell to interpret their surroundings. That combination can sometimes lead to sudden reactions. When startled or uncertain, a rhino may charge first and investigate later. The response is not driven by aggression alone. It is often a product of caution in an environment filled with potential threats. As the rhino moves across the pride's path, lions and nearby grazing animals quickly give way. No one benefits from being in its path. Within moments, the disturbance passes. The rhino disappears back into the vegetation as abruptly as it appeared. The lions continue forward. For the dominant male, however, survival involves challenges that extend beyond rival animals. His mane is one of the most recognizable features in the natural world. It signals maturity, physical condition, and social status. Research suggests that darker, fuller manes may influence how rivals and potential mates perceive a male. But the trait comes with costs. A large, dark mane absorbs heat, making temperature regulation more difficult under the intense African sun. The very feature that helps establish dominance may also increase physiological stress. It is a trade-off seen throughout nature. Traits that provide reproductive advantages often carry significant survival costs. For a dominant male lion, every day is a balance between displaying strength and enduring the consequences of that display. The pride moves cautiously through a landscape filled with animals larger than themselves. Elephants, rhinos, buffaloes. Each demands respect. In the Serengeti, survival is not determined by strength alone. It depends on judgment, knowing when to hunt, knowing when to stand ground, and knowing when to walk away. Even so, some of the greatest threats to a pride come not from other species, but from changes unfolding within its own territory. Across the grasslands, smaller animals continue their daily routines. A colony of dwarf mongooses sounds alarm calls from the safety of its burrows. Nearby, a secretary bird patrols the open ground in search of snakes and other prey. Life continues on every scale. Yet subtle signs suggest that something is changing. The tension is difficult to see at first. A scent carried on the wind. A distant roar. Fresh tracks crossing territorial boundaries. The dominant male may not see the challenge coming, but it is already moving closer. Somewhere beyond the edge of the territory, younger males are approaching. Stronger than they were a few years ago. More ambitious than ever. And searching for an opportunity to take everything. The greatest threat to a lion pride rarely comes without warning. For weeks, sometimes months, signs of change can accumulate along the edges of a territory. Roars from unfamiliar males, fresh scent markings, tracks appearing where they do not belong. Eventually, the challenge arrives. A coalition of younger male lions has entered the pride's territory. They are in their physical prime. Stronger, faster, and backed by the confidence that comes with youth. Standing against them is the resident male, an experienced ruler who has defended this territory for years. But in the life of a lion, dominance is never permanent. Every reign eventually faces a challenge. The confrontation is violent and direct. Unlike many animal conflicts that end with displays or intimidation, battles between rival male lions often escalate into dangerous physical combat. Powerful forelimbs collide. Claws tear through skin. Teeth seek vulnerable targets around the head, neck, and shoulders. The outcome can determine the future of an entire pride. Experience provides advantages, but age carries costs. A younger coalition can attack repeatedly, forcing an older male to defend himself from multiple opponents at once. Even the strongest lion has limits. Gradually, those limits begin to show. The resident male loses ground. Injuries accumulate. His strength fades. Eventually, the battle is decided. The old ruler is driven away. For him, sole survival becomes uncertain. Many displaced males spend the remainder of their lives wandering alone, struggling to secure territory, food, and protection. Some eventually recover. Many do not. For the pride, however, the transition is only beginning. The arrival of new males often triggers one of the harshest realities of lion society: infanticide. Young cubs fathered by the previous males may be killed by the incoming coalition. While disturbing from a human perspective, the behavior serves a biological purpose. Females nursing dependent cubs typically do not return to reproductive condition. By eliminating cubs that are not their own, incoming males can accelerate the opportunity to produce offspring and establish their genetic lineage within the pride. It is one of the most controversial and emotionally difficult behaviors observed in the natural world. Yet it remains an important part of lions' social dynamics. The lionesses are not passive observers in this process. They have evolved strategies of their own. In some situations, females may aggressively defend cubs. In others, they may conceal them. And when the balance of power shifts permanently, they often adapt to the new social structure. Once females enter estrus, mating becomes frequent. Remarkably frequent. A pair may mate dozens of times over the course of a single day. This repeated behavior is thought to help stimulate ovulation and strengthen social bonds between pride members. Over time, stability gradually returns. The coalition settles into its new role. The lionesses resume raising cubs. A new generation begins. The cycle continues. For all their strength, lions occupy a surprisingly fragile position in the modern world. Across Africa, wild lion populations have declined significantly over the past several decades. Habitat loss, conflict with humans, declining prey populations, and fragmentation of ecosystems continue to place pressure on surviving populations. Today, lions occupy only a fraction of the range they once held. Their future depends not only on their ability to compete with rivals, hunt prey, and raise cubs, but also on the preservation of the landscapes they call home. The story of the lion is often told as one of power. But survival, not power, is the theme that runs through every chapter of its existence. From the first hunt of a young lioness to the final challenge faced by an aging male, every moment is shaped by risk, adaptation, and change. The Serengeti remains one of the last places where this story can still unfold on a grand scale. And as long as these grasslands endure, the roar of the lion will continue to echo across the plains. If you enjoy exploring the hidden strategies, adaptations, and struggles that shape life in the natural world, subscribe to Anomalies for more wildlife stories from Earth's most remarkable ecosystems.